Alright. What is up, everyone? Multi-Apples here bringing another video, and today I am playing some 2010 FIFA World Cup South Africa, and I'm starting the World Cup mode, so bear with me, hold on. I am actually going to be trying to qualify for the... I want to do the World Cup with each confederation, where I try and qualify and win the World Cup with each confederation, with a team in each confederation. And I'm going to start in Africa. And the team I chose is Botswana. I've never actually been to Botswana or any African country, actually. I'd like to go to Botswana. I'd like to go to Africa as a whole. But I just haven't had the chance. So our first game is a friendly against Zimbabwe. So let's go ahead and actually get started. So yeah. Now, Botswana and Zimbabwe in real life have never actually qualified for the World Cup. At least as of this live stream. The time of this live stream on Twitch. It is 2:06 p.m. Central Standard Time on September 4th, 2024. So yeah. Actually, I'm not sure if either team can still. Don't really remember who's in, like, for the second round. I think they're in the second round in Africa for World Cup qualifying. I'm not sure if both Zimbabwe and Botswana are still eligible for the 2026 World Cup. So. But at least as of the ending of the 2022 FIFA World Cup, neither country has yet qualified for the World Cup. It's still possible they could qualify for future World Cups. At least at the time of this live stream, yeah. Actually, the next set of international games, I think, is tomorrow. September 5th. I don't remember which. I know it's involving, I think, South America, Africa, and Asia. I think. Off the top of my head. I always loved the World Cup. I always loved seeing international soccer for the World Cup, and seeing teams that haven't been to the World Cup before play in the World Cup and see how well they do. And of course, there are a few countries I root for in the World Cup as well. I was born in England, so I always root for the English to win. And I'm an American citizen, so I always root for the Americans to do well, even though soccer's not that popular compared to other sports. And I'm of Dutch descent, so I always root for the Netherlands whenever they're in the World Cup as well. And then I always root for Portugal and Spain and France because I'm of Portuguese, French, and Spanish descent. And then I always root for Trinidad and Tobago in international soccer, even though they've only made the World Cup once in 2006. So actually, the World Cup in 2002 was the first World Cup I have any memory of, because I was born in 1995. The 98 World Cup happened when I was 3, and I have no recollection of it, as we deflected out of bounds there. Now France won in 98. Couldn't tell you where it was held, though. I don't remember. 2002 was held in South Korea and Turkey. That I know for sure. Or South Korea and Japan. I don't know why I thought of Turkey. I think Turkey did well. In that tournament. So that nearly went in. That was a good shot by the Zimbabwe player. But I do remember watching a Brazil game in the World Cup in 2002, at least part of it. And in 2006, I remember because I have a family member from Trinidad and Tobago, and that was like a big deal for my family, seeing Trinidad make the World Cup. I actually remember the 2006 World Cup Finals, the ending of it as well. I remember watching the game and watching the... that's a nice save. I remember watching the ending. I remember Zinedine Zidane's headbutt in the final. That's really the first thing that always comes to mind when I think of the World Cup in 2006. And finding out Trinidad and Tobago, I think they drew Sweden, if I remember correctly. So I remember I was at the post office when that happened. That is not that difficult for the keeper to actually save. So yeah. In 2010, that was like the first World Cup where I really remember watching and paying attention to the group stages. And remember Spain playing the Netherlands in the finals. Wanting England to... I always wanted England to win the World Cup, so... The other teams that I usually mention supporting as you want them to do well, and you wouldn't mind seeing them win, if England doesn't win. It usually depends on who's playing between those teams. And then 2014, I remember Germany versus Brazil. I know, sorry Brazil fans. Sorry to all the Brazilian fans out there. But cause that World Cup was it wasn't so much the Germany winning and beating Brazil. I mean, it was kind of shocking that they did it in Brazil, but what's really shocking is the 7-1 score. That's, I remember, was really shocking. The score was the most shocking aspect of it. And then 2018, I remember Croatia qualifying, not only qualifying, but making it to the Final Four, and actually the finals. I know I wanted France to win, but I wouldn't be mad if Croatia had won that World Cup either. In the finals, because Croatia played well up until the final match. And they didn't give up in the final match either, so... Halftime. Remember in 2014, Bosnia and Herzegovina was the only country to qualify for their first World Cup. And in 2018, you had Panama and Iceland qualify for their first World Cups as well. Which I'm shocked that Panama didn't qualify until 2018. I thought that would be one of the nations that had qualified before, but I was wrong, so... It's a nice shot, though. 2022, I remember Qatar's the only team that qualified for the World Cup for the first time, and they got it by being the hosts. So, we committed a foul. Let's go ahead and make some substitutions. Bear with me really quick. Switch goalies to give a goalie the some playing time, the backup goalie some playing time. And 2022, yeah, just remember, in Morocco, I think I mentioned this before in a previous soccer video I did. 2022 World Cup was surprising because you had Morocco go to the Final Four. They, I think, finished 4th place. And in that World Cup, I remember everyone thinking, you know, there's no way Morocco can win this game. Lo and behold, Morocco not only would win that game, and they would win against teams that you wouldn't, like, even though Morocco is a talented team, you wouldn't expect them to win and make it to the Final Four. And I remember when the knockout stages started, thinking, okay, round of 16, there's no way Morocco's going to move on. Morocco won the game. Okay, quarterfinals, there's no way Morocco can go on. You know, there's no way they can go into the semifinals. Morocco went on to the semifinals. And I remember that I was like, okay, maybe Morocco can actually go on to the finals and win. And unfortunately, they didn't. Unfortunately for them, they didn't, so. But it's one of those things that, you know, no one would really, until it ended, everyone was caught off guard to see how well Morocco did, so. Which I'm not complaining about how well Morocco did, because you want them to do well. It's always nice seeing a country, it's always nice seeing a team that isn't really expected to do well in the World Cup do well, or in any sporting event. It's always nice to see a team you wouldn't expect to do well. But I'll tell you what's shocking is, what's equally as shocking is the fact that Italy actually didn't make the World Cup in 2022 or 2018. I think that's just as shocking as Croatia and Morocco making it to the Final Four in their respective World Cups. Because Italy's, I think, won the second most World Cups of any nation in the world behind Brazil. If I remember correctly, I think Brazil has won the most, and then I know Italy is up there, like with one fewer at 4. Brazil's won 5, and I think Argentina and Germany are next with 3. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know Uruguay has at least 1 or 2. And France has 2. And I know England and Spain have 1 as well. So this is going to be more than likely a draw for us. So. Actually, all of the World Cup champions have come from either South America or Europe. Okay, so we allowed a goal. That's bad. I don't know. Umwaruwaris, I think I pronounce his name. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm probably going to be wrong. That was a good goal, though. That was a good goal. I may need to lower the difficulty, though. So I seem to be struggling here. I would like to go to Botswana. So if you've been to Botswana or you're from Botswana, and you're watching this on YouTube, let me know what are some good places in Botswana to visit. Oh, that's too high. And what things should I be aware of when traveling to Botswana? And what things should I avoid in Botswana? Because unfortunately, every country and every place has good and bad. You know, I'm sure if you were to come to the state I live in the US, I can tell you the places to avoid. Because unfortunately, there's bad here. So there's bad, unfortunately, everywhere. But oh, that's a foul. That's gonna be at least a yellow. Yeah, that's a yellow. I failed to hit the ball, so we are gonna lose this game probably. I know I've done the World Cup mode, like the qualifications on the 2014 FIFA World Cup Brazil on my YouTube channel. But I want to do that again, and this time actually play the World Cup, because I really only did the qualifying modes for that series. So, I want to do qualifying and then actually play the World Cup as well. But I'll probably do it with different countries than I did last time. One thing I like is that they have almost every country in the World Cup modes for 2010 and 2014 for the video games. We are probably going to lose this game. Ah. That was probably our last chance at scoring. So, yep. That's going to be yellow. Ah, yeah, I can see why that's yellow. And I'm gonna change. I'm definitely gonna change the difficulty. Get a couple games under my belt under the lower difficulty before I can actually change it again. I kind of wish EA Sport or EA in particular. I know EA Sports is owned by EA, so I kind of wish that EA would actually start making the World Cup games again instead of having it for the DLC for the FIFA slash EA Sports FC series. So I don't mind the DLC. I just wish they would like actually make the World Cup games. Okay, so settings. Let's do home settings. Shoot. Okay, let's see if we can change the settings. We're gonna play our first game against Madagascar. Yeah, we can. So at least do semi-pro then. Got some drinks to me. I got some A&W Diet Root Beer, or Zero Sugar Root Beer, with me. And some Kroger purified drinking water as well. So yeah. Let's take one shot here. And I couldn't hit water if I fell out of a boat with the way I'm playing. Yeah, I'm a bit thirsty, so I'm gonna have some of my root beer. I actually like root beer. And actually, what I like about the World Cup games is that they actually have the actual teams, not only the countries, but they have the real life players that played for the teams. So, playing against Madagascar in our first World Cup game, I lowered the difficulty because I'm not good enough on the professional level to win on the professional difficulty. So, I've never been to Madagascar. I've never been to any African countries or any on mainland Africa or any of the African countries off the coast, like Sao Tome and Principe or Madagascar. I want to go though. There we go. We finally won, or finally scored. I mean. I know in some countries, I don't remember the countries off the top of my head that aren't included in this game, but they didn't really participate in the FIFA World Cup qualifying. They may have been like suspended or withdrew for whatever reason. And a few countries weren't even. One country I can think of off the top of my head is South Sudan, which did not exist as a country when this game came out, when this World Cup took place. Let alone as a part of FIFA. And then Gibraltar and Kosovo, to my knowledge, weren't a part of FIFA. Now, Gibraltar is an overseas territory of the United Kingdom, so it's not a country, and Kosovo really depends on who you ask, is a country or not. I am not qualified enough to determine whether Kosovo is or isn't a country, and I'm not educated enough on the situation between Serbia and Kosovo to have an opinion on that. So all I know is Kosovo declared independence from Serbia in 2008, and it's recognized by some UN members, and it's not a member of the United Nations, and other members of the UN don't recognize it, so that's why I say depending on who you ask. So I'm going to leave it up to the comment section because I am not educated enough on the situation to have an opinion or to know why Kosovo declared independence. So I'll definitely, if I can stop turning this over at one thing, I can actually get what I'm trying to say out. So I'll definitely look into and form an opinion on it. But I for one, currently do not have the answers to the solution, let alone enough information to form an opinion on it. So please don't get upset with me. I just don't know. So, yeah. And then, I know no countries are, like, Gibraltar first attempted to qualify in 2018, if I remember correctly. Same with South Sudan, even though they were a member of FIFA in 2014. They didn't try out for the World Cup, I think because qualification had already started, if I remember correctly, when they joined FIFA. So it was 2018 by default. And Gibraltar joined FIFA in 2016. They were recognized as a member of FIFA. So don't remember when Kosovo, and that was after the 2010 World Cup though. So So yeah. Looking forward to like seeing who qualifies for the World Cup and if any teams qualify for the World Cup for the first time, because the next World Cup is going to be in a little under 2 years in 2026. It'll like begin and end in the summer of 2026. So like by the time September 2026, exactly 2 years from today comes around, the World Cup would have ended. So and it's going to be held in Mexico, Canada, and the U.S. And all three countries I mentioned, where it's going to be held, have qualified for the World Cup in 2026. And they've actually all qualified for the World Cup before. So at least at the time of this live stream, every country that's qualified for the World Cup or has qualified for a previous iteration of the World Cup. So I hope we get to see countries make their World Cup debuts in at least the group stage. So I'm glad the World Cup has actually expanded to 48 teams. More teams get more chances, but I always felt that regardless of the amount of teams that play in the World Cup, every confederation should have an automatic bid, in my opinion. Not including the hosts. I always think, not including the hosts and the champions, every confederation should have at least one automatic bid. One team qualify for the World Cup, and so the host should always qualify, and I think the champions should be allowed to defend their title. So, and then after that, every confederation gets at least one team in the World Cup. That's just my opinion, though. I know that's not how it's done anymore. I know Oceania hasn't always gotten an automatic bid until at least 2026. And then the champions used to qualify automatically, but now they don't. And the hosts have always qualified for the World Cup, so I always think the host should. If you're hosting a tournament, you should actually be in the said tournament. That's just my opinion, though, and at least at the group stages. So we got that header in. Okay, I just need to get good on the professional level. The professional difficulty. So yeah. So Oceania, the best team in Oceania usually tends to be New Zealand. I know for at least every qualifying tournament, New Zealand usually tends to, since Australia left and joined the Asian Confederation, New Zealand usually tends to get the qualifying, or usually the team that represents Oceania in every tournament. Usually, that hasn't always been the case. I know in the FIFA Club World Cup, not every team from Oceania at the club level has been from New Zealand. At the FIFA Club World Cup, I know there have been teams from, if I remember correctly, New Caledonia, and Hikari United, which I think is from Papua New Guinea, have qualified for the FIFA Club World Cup. And actually, when the Confederations Cup used to exist as a tournament, in 2013, Tahiti qualified for the tournament. It's every Confederations champion plus the host would be represented in the Confederations Cup every 4 years. So, like, if you won the your continent, like for example in Oceania in 2013, Tahiti won the Oceania Nations Cup. So they got represent Oceania in the Confederations Cup. I think that was in Brazil. So you actually had Brazil in. Are we out of substitutions? Yes, we are. So you actually had two teams from South America, I think, if I remember correctly, because Brazil was the host, they qualify regardless if they win the Confederations Cup or not, regardless if they win the Copa Americana, I think is what it's called. But I know the next FIFA Club World Cup is going to be in 2025, and there's only one team represented from Oceania, and that's going to be, I want to say, Auckland City FC, which is based in New Zealand, Auckland, New Zealand. So, but because it's usually the best ranking. The way it's determined is like 32 teams will qualify for the FIFA Club World Cup, and only one team from Oceania is going to be in, and that's usually the highest ranking Oceania Club Champions League champion. So. Yeah. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the World Cup. The Club World Cup is going to be held next year, though. Um, there are two teams I mainly watch for soccer: Real Madrid and Ajax Amsterdam. Ajax, they're not participating in the Club World Cup because they haven't won the Champions League, and they're not any of the highest remaining teams that are eligible for the Club World Cup in Europe. Now, Real Madrid has won the Champions League within the past 4 years, so they're going to be going to the Club World Cup next year. And that's the other team I watched, Ajax and Real Madrid. So, actually, Real Madrid is going to be in the Champions League this year, so I already looked up their schedule. I don't remember all the opponents off the top of my head, but I am a fan of Real Madrid, and I like Ajax Amsterdam as well. And Ajax is going to be in the Europa League as well. They managed to beat Vojvodina, Panathinaikos, and a Polish team that I don't know how to pronounce. I know Vojvodina is a team in Serbia. I'm probably mispronouncing that name. Panathinaikos is a team from Greece, actually. And then I remember there's a team from Poland I don't know how to pronounce the name of, so. Real Madrid actually won the Champions League, won the UEFA Champions League last year. So they automatically qualify for the group stage. Or the league phase, I should say. Now, that's what it's called. And they actually would have qualified because I think they finished second in La Liga last year. Barca won, I think, La Liga last year, if I remember correctly. It was either Barca or Real Madrid, I can't remember. That won La Liga, so. Girona qualified for the Champions League for the first time since the introduction of the group stage. They finished third. I know root beer is not the healthiest drink, but I actually went. I was supposed to have. I'm in university now. For those of you that don't know, I'm studying radiation technology, and I was supposed to have a class today, but it was canceled, and I didn't find out until I actually arrived at the class. And so I decided, you know what, let me just buy some lottery tickets. Let's go with my family member that drove me to class, and they went to buy lottery tickets. So I was like, you know, let me just. I don't really. I mean, I have water, but I don't mind drinking water. I just want a drink that has taste in it as well. In addition to water. So let me get some root beer. Let me get some soda. So thankfully, root beer is non-alcoholic. I do not like any alcoholic drinks. I've never really liked any drinks with alcohol in them, just because I'm not a big fan of the taste. There's only really one or two drinks I've had that have alcohol in them, but that I actually enjoy, but small amounts of alcohol in them. So I'm not really a big fan of like beer or anything, or beer or wine or anything like that. I just never really liked it. So I suppose that's good though. Let's see. But root beer, I've always liked root beer. Let's see. That's going to be saved. It's going to be a 5-0 victory for us. So. Yeah, so class was cancelled, but I went to study a little bit after, and then I decided to stream, and I can resume studying after streaming, so. I know the 2010 World Cup was historic because when Spain actually won their first World Cup, their only World Cup victory, championship, and then it was the first time it was held in an African nation, and it was held in South Africa. There we go, we scored. Six nothing now. I may keep it on this difficulty for a few games. I don't think it'd be fun to like play every game and just win every game on like an easy level. Like, don't get me wrong, I want to win every game. It's just I want to challenge myself as well. So, 2 minutes of extra time. I can't believe it's already September. Summer's coming to an end here. I'm actually not complaining about the heat it being less hot though. Oh man, the sheer heat in the state of Arkansas is not very fun to deal with. Don't get me wrong, the cold isn't either. The cold is not exactly fun to deal with, but neither is the heat. I'd actually rather be cold than hot because whenever I get too hot, I tend to get a headache. Whereas if I'm too cold, I really just don't really. You know, I can always, when I don't often get sick when I get cold. Whereas when I usually get hot, I usually get a headache. Like yesterday, I went for a walk in the park, and I actually have a backup goalie. Come in and start. Let's take a look at the statistics. And at least in terms of the qualifying, not everybody has played yet. But that will change over time. I'm gonna. One thing I like to do when I'm playing these games is at least I at least want every person on my team to play at least one game. So we're gonna be playing Mozambique. Move it down to 5 minutes actually. Ooh, excuse me for burping. Actually, if I remember correctly, the 2006, not 2006, the 2010 FIFA World Cup game South Africa was the first one. First World Cup game I've ever played. No, the 2006 FIFA World Cup game I didn't actually play until for the very first time until about a week and a half ago, nearly 2 weeks ago. Because I remember I ordered it last month in August and off of Amazon. It was like $6, if I remember correctly. And it came on a Friday, and I remember playing it for a little bit, so it was always fun to play. I wanted to make some substitutions, but I didn't. Oh well. So we're playing Mozambique. It's another country I love. Actually, there are a lot of countries I want to visit. I've really only been to Europe and North America and to Oceania. But the only country in Oceania I've been to is Australia. I went in 2009 or 2010, one of those years. I think it was 2009. Yeah, it was 2009. No, 2010. Because I remember that was the year I was following the Orlando Magic in the NBA at the time. And I remember actually going to Los Angeles during the NBA Finals. And the Orlando Magic were playing the Lakers in the finals that the year I went to Australia. And one of my layovers from Arkansas was in Los Angeles. Because if I remember correctly, I went from LA to either Dallas, or I went from Little Rock to either, I think, Houston or Dallas. And then Houston or Dallas to Los Angeles. I had 2 layovers. I don't remember if it was Dallas or Houston. But it was Little Rock to Texas, and then Texas to Los Angeles, and then Los Angeles to Brisbane. It was either Brisbane or Sydney. And let me tell you something. To go from Los Angeles to Brisbane is 14 and a half hours. or Sydney. It's like 14 hours, and that was not a fun plane ride because I have trouble sleeping on planes, and I didn't always have trouble sleeping on planes. I used to as a kid. Sleep pretty easily whenever I traveled, but 14 hours is too much for me. And I want to go to Australia, but it's only complaint is that it's so far. The plane ride to and from Australia from the US is not. The plane ride itself is not exactly fun, but actually going to Australia and actually going, I'm sure going to the Pacific Islands would actually be fun, in New Zealand as well. So the longest flight I've been on was from either Brisbane or Sydney to Los Angeles, and that was 14 and a half hours. Ah, dang, we lost possession again. If I ever say anything offensive, I do apologize. Let's see, it's currently... Okay, our goalie got that, thankfully. Let's make a substitution. Let's actually make 2 substitutions and resume the match, so... So we have our goalie coming off. We're playing the backup goalie just for him to get an appearance in the World Cup qualifying for Botswana. Actually, the second longest flight I've been on outside of was actually to Australia. So I guess not if the was from LA. The longest flight I've been on was from Australia to LA. The second longest was from LA to Australia. The third longest was actually to Hawaii, either to or from Hawaii to mainland USA. So that was like 9 hours. And we allowed a goal, so... Both times we've allowed goals in, it was actually this goalie. It's a good goal that was scored, but... So yeah, Hawaii and Australia are the only places in Oceania that I've been to. I'd like to go back to Hawaii. I only went to like the whatever island Honolulu was on, because I've been to like Honolulu and the surrounding areas in Hawaii, or the surrounding towns on that island. I'd like to go back to Australia, though. Make one more substitution, actually. So in 2 games so far, we have 1 win, 1 loss. And we're losing our 3rd game, unfortunately. And I don't remember if we play every team twice or every team once. If we play every team twice, that wouldn't be so bad losing to Mozambique just once, as long as we win the rest of the games. If we play every team once, then this could backfire, and the loss to Mozambique could be detrimental to us in terms of qualifying. Now, the game against Zimbabwe was a friendly, so that's not going to affect us in the standings. So, because we lost that game 1-0, if I remember correctly, either 1-0 or 2-0. I don't remember now. Thankfully, he missed off the goalpost. That was a good shot. Should have went in, but it didn't. It has it we won our first game 6-0, but then we're losing our second game 1-0 at the semi-pro difficulty. Now I'm starting to regret having this 5 minutes instead of 6, though. Got a little too confident after the first game. Offside, thankfully. Sorry, I'm just a little thirsty from talking so much. Ah, shoot. Okay, we got possession. Pass. That's not who I wanted to pass to. I should have taken the shot. Ah, shoot. I'm struggling to get shots off now. Sorry for not talking so much. I'm a little distracted. Ah, shoot. Okay, I'm not going to be playing a goalie. Both times we lost, he was in the goal. And every goal we've allowed, he was in. So, He is just not cutting it as a goalie. Excuse me. So yes, I have to check to see if we're playing each team twice, because I doubt we're gonna score a second goal, and I doubt when they shoot, our goalie's gonna be able to keep it out. I say that as he kept it out there, but I doubt that's gonna be a frequent occurrence. With him in the goal, so I just really can't afford to play him. We're gonna lose this game, unfortunately, because I don't think we can get a shot off, let alone actually get another shot off after this. Yeah, we're gonna lose. We've lost. Well, I'm not gonna play that goalie. He is just awful. We're better off having no one in goalie than having him, because I mean I just don't see the difference. Thankfully, we play every team twice. I just saw we're playing the Ivory Coast twice there, so. Maposa is his name. Yeah, Fairy start. So where do we rank in terms of our table right now? So we are in second behind Mozambique. Thankfully, Madagascar didn't win by a lot, so we fell back to the 100th. Yeah, I'm not going to make any substitutions actually right now. Keep it as is. All right. Those are the standings. We're in second. We're playing the Ivory Coast, who surprisingly lost both games to Madagascar and Mozambique. And they have Didier Drogba as well, which is even more surprising that they lost. After this game, I'm going to check to see who has not played on our team in the qualifiers and play them. So I mentioned earlier in the stream I'd love to see World Cup games come out every 4 years. I'd love to see a World Cup game for like the men's and women's, and each separate, you know. In addition to the yearly EA Sports FC games. Knowing it's EA, I don't have much faith they'll not be like very pay to win friendly or very monetized a lot, you know. A lot of monetization in it. Let alone as good as it should let alone as good as it should be. That was a good goal. That was a good goal. I don't know why. Maybe I need to change the difficulty again. So I don't know if only the top two teams or just the first place team actually moves on. So I really need to start winning. But for the first time, a different goalie allowed a goal in, so I know Pez has usually releases games, but or Konami releases the Pez games, but or not EA Football, sorry, eFootball, which used to be known as Pez, hasn't been good in a long time, in my opinion. So there is a game coming out, I want to say later this month or next game, called the United Football League. I remember seeing one of my favorite YouTubers and Twitch streamers, Zero's the Number. If I can remember, I'll link his channel. Zero, if you're watching this and I forget to link your channel, leave a comment and I'll pin it. And either click on the link or Zero's comment to actually, as we allow will go there to actually go to his channel and watch it. Because he played the beta. I remember him, so. So we're going to drop our second game in a row and our third game overall. Because our defense is non-existent and we can't make a shot to save our lives. It's a miracle we didn't allow a goal there. Is it possible to change the settings? Mid-game, no. So I have to make this on, if I want to win, I have to make this on a lower difficulty. Because I don't think our defense is very bad and we can't really get any shots off. That was most definitely a foul. Yeah, that should have been a card, though. So Sakura misses the next match, which actually is against us. Is he injured? Let's see. Yes. It's to come off. Alright. That's going to be a card. And it's going to be a yellow, so we can take off. Oh, and that's our sub, so you know what? Let's just leave him on, so. Let's take him off, actually. We're going to give up another goal, so. No, we're not. Our problem is we really can't get any shots off, and our defense is non-existent. So I have to take the sub off because he got a yellow. Card, and if he gets another yellow card, that's gonna be an automatic red, and we're down to 10 men, and we can't really afford to be down men, especially on defense. Thankfully, it's not who I wanted to pass to, but okay. We can't get a good shot off there. And it missed. To the surprise of absolutely no one. What's really frustrating is that our passes always get intercepted. Whenever I try to do the same with on defense, they always run past us, and the passes never go where I want to go to. That's not the person I wanted to pass to. So frustrating. That was a horrible shot. Again, not where I wanted the pass to go to, but okay. That's a first. We actually played defense there as well. You see, what I hate is that they can sprint, but when I press the sprint button, we don't sprint. Ah, shit. That's gonna be a card. And we have no more substitutions. And it's almost like every time we commit a foul, they'll definitely call the foul on us, understandable so. But every time they commit a foul, it feels like that they don't always call the fouls. Thankfully, that was called and that was carded, so. That's just a little too high, otherwise it would have went in. So we are going to change the difficulty again. Oh, that's a first. We actually scored. If we can get a draw, then we'll get 1 point, so hopefully we can get 1 instead of 0. But we'll see. I doubt it. We're gonna... We have 4 minutes of extra time. Thankfully, that's gonna be a corner. And another yellow for the Ivory Coast. And he's going to be suspended for the next game. That's going to be a red card. Don't think he should... I don't think that should have been a card, though. But that's just my opinion. And, yep, we lost. So I have to change the difficulty. I still don't think that should have been a card. I can understand a foul, but... I have some of my water now. The game against the Ivory Coast, and then a game against a friendly against Sudan. So game settings. We're gonna change the difficulty again. This time to amateur because I can't really win. I'll check after this game to see, for the next friendly. Who I have yet to play, and hopefully I can actually win. Because I only won one game in 3 tries, so. So we're actually down 2 players. One's an injury, and the other got a red card. And how we're in second place still is beyond me. Granted, Ivory Coast lost the starter because they're on a red card, which I can't really judge on the first yellow card because they got the first yellow card was in the previous game, not against us. So I don't really know if they're. But the second yellow card I can understand. Now our second yellow card for the player that got the red, I don't think should have been. I just don't think it was warranted as a red, let alone a yellow. I can understand the first yellow card he got. I can understand the first one. The second one, I don't think. I think it was a foul, but not really a yellow. I know one of the Ivory Coast players is on a yellow, and I think one of ours also is on the yellow. One or two of ours, and one or two of theirs is on the yellow as well. Well, I'm sorry. They should have scored there twice, actually. That's 2 separate occasions. Ivory Coast should have actually scored. You make that a third time, and I don't think have gotten a shot off to save our life. And if I can't win on this difficulty, then there's no hope to win anymore, because it's a fluke that I won on the semi-pro, and this is the easiest difficulty. That's going to be at least a yellow. I would have understand if that had been a red, actually. So we have to avoid him getting another yellow. But I would have understood if that was a red. No surprise there, we're already losing. And no surprise Didier Drogba scored, so we're going to fall down to at least third if the score stays like this. And we've lost to the Ivory Coast. We really cannot afford to lose to them twice. Because if I remember, I really don't know how the qualifying works for Africa in 2010 for the 2010 FIFA World Cup. But yeah, I know the best way is to finish in first. Okay, the one team I expected to beat us, or at least we'd struggle to beat, is the Ivory Coast because of Didier Drogba. And thankfully for us, I know Mozambique won the. I think it was Mozambique that beat us 2-0. Remember correctly. So is the team Mozambique. What's frustrating for me is that our defense is non-existent. We have no defense whatsoever. So that's frustrating. And then our passes always get intercepted. And that's not who I wanted to pass to, but okay. And then the ball never goes where I want it to go to. What the yeah. Again, the ball isn't going to where I want it to go to. I think we beat Madagascar, and that's probably going to be our final game. We'll fall from second to third after this game if the score stays the same. How did they not score there? They should have scored. I would have been pissed if they had scored, so... They're gonna score again. I can already tell they're gonna score. No surprise, we had no one to pass to there, and we lost possession. Hold on. I'm gonna mute my mic and turn off my face cam.
Botlabani, Durang Malloy, Drogba, Magaladi, Letshona Tebe, Mogorosi.
Got to look after the ball better than that. Defender just got back to make the interception.
Ref's blown, it is a foul. Referee's just giving himself some thinking time here. Yellow card, no, just to ticking off.
Hey, well done the referee. Lots of referees would have pulled a card out there. He's used his brain to allow the game to continue.
It's always a predicament whether to change a winning team, but the manager is looking to cement the victory now. This is a tactical change. Couldn't keep it.
He was made to hurry there, anxious clearance.
Now they've managed to win a corner. Strong header. Good work by the goalkeeper. Safe hands. Must score. Goalkeeper lays claim to it.
Letshona Tebe.
Possession changing hands here.
Piri. Gervinho. Ivory Coast have won themselves a corner.
I don't think the manager is at all unhappy with what he's seeing out there. Just wants to freshen things up and stay on top. Cut that out well, didn't he? They're probing here. He'll have a go!
It's a corner to Ivory Coast. Not going to just hoof the ball upfield and pass it around.
Well-timed tackle.
Piri.
Possession changes hands.
Keita. You know, the last thing I expected here was a close game like this.
You know, you play against teams like this and it just drags your performance up. This is an evenly fought contest.
Loses it. Bamba. Kalu. Didier Drogba. Can't quite get past him. All comfortable in possession, even the defenders.
Very good at reading the game like that. Here's an update on the scores from the other qualifiers in progress. They've managed to get another goal now, and that may all be over.
He's such a reliable ball winner.
Chance to cross. He's won that well. Now, can he get them moving? This is dangerous. As you can see, this is not the only game taking place today. There are the other scores. They've scored again there, and it looks like it may all be over. Stole the ball there. Oh, they've worked this well. That tackle was all about timing. Here's a chance. He broke up the attack there. Not long left. They may not get another chance to rescue this game. The keeper claims it.
It's been a forgettable experience for them all. They can have no complaints about the result. They didn't do enough in this game.
Too many players doing their own thing. No real team pattern, I'm afraid.